Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And it is definitely time for a daily dose of dismal Disney. This is coming from the Wall Street Journal. Nelson Peltz is back and he's got Ike Perlmutter's shares of Disney.
Yes, Ike Perlmutter has given him control of his shares.
Oh my God. Okay, that's pretty bad for Disney, for the current regime at Disney. We're going to talk about this. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture, news, views, and rants, guys. You get woohoo if you do.
Woohoo!
Very quickly, go out to shopclownfish.com, back Shadowbinders Volume 3. Ships next year. This is the first new Shadowbinders comic book, graphic novel content in 10 years. And we also have a second chance, or third, I guess it's third chance at this point.
Not many left.
Not many of these left to get books 1 and 2. They were printed a couple of years ago, and we have a handful of those left as well. Shopclownfish.com. This is what you're here for, though, right? The former Marvel executive, Ike Perlmutter, says he can no longer watch the business, being Disney, underachieve its great potential. Wow.
We already knew that Peltz and Perlmutter were friends, and after Peltz didn't go through with the takeover last time, they got rid of Perlmutter right after.
So we're going to go out and look. It came from the Wall Street Journal. They had a very lengthy article, but a couple other outlets covered it. WDW News Today covered it. Axios has it out here, and they have like a recap of it. But let's go out to WDW News Today. So this is huge news. For those of you who don't know what the deal is, Nelson Peltz is Trian Group?
Yeah, Trian Group.
And he's been pushing Disney for a while to course correct.
Now, last time he was going to do this, he tried to take a board seat before when they had their annual meeting and they had the voting. But when Iger announced all the cuts and things, Peltz stepped back and said, "Okay, you're going to do something about it. I'll wait." At that point, he had 9 million shares to leverage. At this point, I believe he has 33 million shares to leverage.
Hell.
And now he's not just going for one seat for him or his son. He's going for multiple seats. And probably one of them is for Perlmutter, too, honestly.
Oh, I'm sure. This is Ike Perlmutter's revenge. So for those of you who don't know who Ike Perlmutter is, he was in charge of Marvel when Marvel was sold to Disney. And I think a lot of his compensation came from stock. And there were always issues, I guess, between him and Kevin Feige. And he wanted to do things his way, and the studios wanted to do things their way.
Well, I mean, his decisions weren't always the best. Like, he was really known for being super cheap, and the Inhumans thing was a prime example of that. I think he was also a big reason they weren't doing female-led movies either. And, well, I mean, the Marvels, I can understand why, but they could have done a Black Widow film way before they did.
Now, he came from, Perlmutter came from Toy Biz, if I remember correctly.
Well, that explains why he said not to make female figures either.
Yeah. So he came from Toy Biz, and then Toy Biz, I forget the whole timeline of it, but Marvel was in trouble. They had a big boom back in the early 90s, and then they had a bust, and then it was Toy Biz that basically swooped in and took control of Marvel, and they were already doing their action figures and stuff. And then Perlmutter was overseeing, I believe, the sale to Disney, and he got a ton of stock out of it. Now, people hate Ike Perlmutter because he's a very close personal friend of one particular orange-skinned president.
Oh.
And in fact, it was his pen that orange-skinned president
I forgot about that.
used to sign his first bill.
Oh my God, this is so stupid. So he's friends with Trump and they're pissed.
Yes, he's very close friends with Trump. Yes. So this could be very interesting.
Imagine that. Businessmen are friends. Oh.
Businessmen are friends.
You don't say.
Billionaires hang out together.
Wow. Never would have guessed.
But I mean, if you want to talk about, so I believe both of these guys are very conservative. So if they're
about money, so they're
about money.
Very conservative.
So if nothing else, if these guys come in, if Peltz does get control and he gets to put new board members in or whatever, there's a very real possibility that Disney is going to course correct for realsies this time, because I don't think they're going to have a choice.
Well, now they're getting made fun of by South Park and everybody else.
Yeah,
I mean, the general public is like laughing their asses off about the whole thing. Their stock's down. They're moved. Their box office is down. They're trying desperately to get people to the Marvels. I don't think it's going to work.
No.
They put Wish. Like it's supposed to release on the one day. They have it early. I think it's releasing the 22nd of November. They have an early access on the 18th to try to get themselves a bump in the box office to try to claim, higher numbers. It's not looking good. They're getting mocked like crazy for Snow White.
Oh, yeah. All right, so let's get into the article here. WW News Today, former Marvel Entertainment chairman Ike Perlmutter has handed voting power for his Disney shares over to Nelson Peltz, Tryon Fund Management, as Peltz pushes for a seat on the Disney board.
He wants multiple seats, according to other articles.
Yeah, they said that as they reported a few weeks ago, Tryon is expected to request multiple board seats, including one for Peltz. And
probably one for him.
Perlmutter, yeah, they pushed him out.
Well, he was running Marvel for years when Marvel was doing well, so...
Yeah, well, that was the thing. So Peltz gave them one more chance, basically. They said, look, we're going to course correct. We're going to try to pivot to profit. We're going to try to... He's like the sword of Damocles. He's like just hanging over Bob Iger's head. And he's like, you better make some money, Bob, or shit's going to get real. So now the summer movie season's over and they had a bunch of misfires.
And the thing is, last time I didn't know if he could actually pull it off. This time, controlling 33 million, he might be able to pull it off because the investors are fed up.
Yeah.
The general public is fed up.
I mean, again, it's pretty bad when you have an entire episode, almost an hour-long episode of South Park dedicated to how ridiculous and unprofitable the Walt Disney Company has become.
Yeah, and how dumb people are for not knowing how to fix shit.
Well, that is true, too.
I mean, that was on there, too. I want to make sure I get that clear.
Well, I think these guys know how to fix shit financially.
Oh, financially. I don't know if they can fix an oven door.
No, I don't think they could fix an oven door. I don't think either one of them could. But they know how to fix shit financially. So, yeah, Perlmutter was fired from Marvel during waves of layoffs earlier this year.
Right after Nelson Peltz backed off and they did the layoffs, one of the first cuts they made was Perlmutter because he was backing Peltz.
This is going to be interesting because if Perlmutter gets in there, he tried to fire Kevin Feige before.
Was this for the MCU, for the Phase 4?
Yeah. I could totally see them coming in and being like, Feige's gone, Kennedy's gone. Let's course correct this shit so we're not a laughing stock. So this company's not a laughing stock. Or they could come in and be like, you know what? Let's make the best Disney we can make and let's sell the Marvel and Lucasfilm divisions off because we don't know how to manage them. And it's
They're
taking
not
away.
going to do that.
Well,
I mean, they're not going to. They have them tied to the parks and everything else. They're not going to sell them off. They do need to try to fix it. I have no idea how they can do that, but they're not going to sell them off.
So when they got rid of Perlmutter, he said, I have no doubt that my termination was based on fundamental differences in business between my thinking and Disney's leadership because I care about return on investment.
Mm-hmm.
This is hilarious. And we're seeing like all this crazy shit go down. And then the Snow White thing, all of a sudden they course correct. Like, oh, look, we've got dwarfs. Honest.
I swear.
Dwarfs. Yeah, we're always playing dwarfs. Tryon is not looking for a board seat for Perlmutter.
They're not.
They said.
Okay. They're not. Okay.
But he told the Journal he plans to urge Disney's board to immediately welcome one or more Tryon board candidates.
The thing is, I don't necessarily agree that there should be multiple seats for one company. Like they try to get different people on the board that have worked in other areas, different backgrounds that work, at other companies. I don't think I personally agree with a bunch of seats going to Tryon people. One maybe, one for Perlmutter maybe. I don't think that one company should have several seats on the board.
No, because at that point it becomes like a takeover scenario,
I don't think it's any different than like people just appointing boards and things like that for their own personal. No, I think that you can't get too many. Because I understand you have a massive control of the stock. I get that. Or it should be one seat per how many shares you have. Yeah. But some of the other people that are on the board, their companies they're not on the board because they represent those companies. They're on the board because they were chosen to be on a board. You know what I'm saying? Mm. So it's a little bit of conflict of interest to get too many people on there.
Oh, this is interesting. This is Perlmutter. When I was a Disney employee, I was not comfortable publicly stating my views on the company and its performance. As someone with a large economic interest in Disney's success, I can no longer watch the business underachieve its great potential. Basically, I lost a lot of money. Mm-hmm. And also, I'm vindictive. You got rid of me, and I went and got my friend. And apparently these guys...
I understand the whole vindictive thing, I mean, I'm like...
Would I do this?
I know you would do this.
Oh, I absolutely would do this. I absolutely would do this.
If I could take down the person that tried to steal our business name and took the other blog and stuff, which I probably could, but it's not really worth the energy or time or effort, I would probably do it if they pissed me off enough.
So this is, But are you getting a return on your investment? That's
it. If they want people, okay, they're asking people to invest more money in the company and to buy their stocks. But why would they if they're not getting anything from it? Like, you know what I mean? You can't ask people to invest in you if you're just constantly failing.
So this is Axios. They bullet pointed everything here. Nice and easy. With Perlmutter shares trying to increase its stake in Disney at 33 million shares, worth roughly $2.5 billion. Most of that stake is Perlmutter's shares. Perlmutter sold Marvel to Disney in 2009 for $4 billion, one of Disney's largest independent shareholders. Yeah, I knew that he got rid of them.
That was colossally effing stupid.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Everybody's like, oh, they can't fire Kathleen Kennedy. I'm like, they fired Ike Perlmutter. They can fire anybody.
Yeah, they can fire Kathleen. They just won't for whatever reason.
They won't.
She has to have blackmail material or something.
I don't know.
I mean, I don't know that for a fact, so that's not me saying that this is fact. I'm saying, to me, it seems like she has to have something on someone. It doesn't make any sense. Apparently, especially if what Gina Carano said was true, and she's that vindictive and petty, and she's going out there causing the company so much trouble by getting pissed about YouTubers and trying to silence everyone, she should have her ass out of there by now.
Yeah, and if for no other reason, box office failure after box office failure, the sequel trilogy, did okay, and then it dropped off a cliff. But Solo was a miserable failure. Indiana Jones was a miserable failure, and the Disney Plus shows are declining. She needs to go.
And the thing is, even if they get rid of her, they're saying we can't get rid of her because no one will take the job. It's like at this point, you just put somebody in there temporarily just to hold down the fort, but don't make anything new for a while. Give it a rest, because
no, you can't do that. It's a Disney machine.
Because you killed it. You done killed it. It's like if you use a field too many years in a row, if you do farming and stuff, you have your garden, you have to either add fertilizer or move it every so often because the field needs to rest, right?
Yeah.
You can't just keep going back to the same field over and over again and expect the crops to be, huge. You can't do it. It's not going to work. Or you have to give it something to make it that's going to work. And they're not even doing that. They're just like squeezing every little bit out of it.
So and that's just it. They've already, there are no more nutrients in the soil. It's shitty dirt.
The corn crops are identifying as weeds now, and there's just nothing left.
That's it. The weeds have taken over.
That's it.
The weeds have taken over the farm.
It's corn. That's not corn. That's corn. I tell you, go tape some fake corn on there. It's corn. Those are weeds. It's corn. Anyway. They identify as corn.
Yeah, it's the weeds have taken over Hollywood, and all of it. Like, everything is going to change. Like, I don't think people realize after the strikes are over, after all this shit's over, I think next year is going to be like peak course correction, and it's going to take a few years. It is, but I think everybody's like, oh my God, we actually have to make money.
Mm-hmm.
The venture capital's run out. The free rides have run out. The goodwill has run out. Now we have
goodwill. People they used to give benefit of the doubt. Now they're not even giving that.
No, like, you have to prove to me that your stuff is good. Like, I'm
the butt of the joke.
Yeah. And there's no coming back. I joked on Twitter. I said, there's no coming back from having an entire episode of South Park dedicated to your nonsense. Like, you're always going to be associated with that.
Mm-hmm. Kathleen Kennedy especially.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure she's pissed.
Oh, I'm sure she is. I'm sure.
Even though at the end they created each other, I'm still sure she's pissed.
They did that for plausible deniability. It was
agree.
95% against, and then they threw that little kernel of corn in at the end to just be like, oh yeah, see both sides.
Was it real corn?
Yep, honest, wink, wink. But 95% of it was slamming Disney, slamming the quote unquote wokeness, slamming the political correctness, slamming stupid business decisions that make no sense whatsoever. That's what it was about. So yeah, this is what happened before the proxy battle. They said they blamed Disney's board and leadership for consistently failing on succession plan. Yeah, Bob Iger doesn't want to go anywhere.
Well, he didn't do anything about finding a successor. And then he turned around and got himself a contract renewal because he needs to stay there longer. I'm like, to do what? Run it into the ground more? Because let's look at the things that have happened. He's the one that made comments about maybe selling ABC that it wasn't critical to the business plan. And that put them down all that stuff about ABC selling and then saying, oh, we're not doing that. Now they're having to sell in the Indian Hotstar stuff.
Yeah.
And they're likely selling that to get rid of it, which is all, if they get rid of it, it's going to tank the subscriber numbers on Disney Plus. But they're going to be getting rid of the 59-cent profit group as opposed to the $6 and some cent profit group everybody else is. And then he's the one that got in the fight with Hollywood. And then, and the Writers Guild and all that. I mean, he's just been like stepping in it at every turn.
Yeah, and it's I think that the dwarf thing, I think that was a Hail Mary pass. Like, oh, okay, right before the meeting, we can salvage it and be like, look, those YouTubers were lying. We planned dwarfs all along.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't see how it went from magical creatures to bandits. And now they're dwarves.
Because that wasn't the plan.
They could have just cast dwarf actors.
If they had planned on using dwarfs, they would have cast dwarf actors, and the stand-ins would have been short folk.
And that's for bandits too, and that's a whole other group, which doesn't make any sense at all.
Oh, the dwarves are being framed.
But the bandits,
like, no, that's our mine. We're not stealing gems.
Because she's skipping along with them.
Yeah, it's like, oh, we're not stealing the gems. It's our mine. It's rightfully ours. Those tall people, those tall, diverse.
We're diverse.
People.
We're diverse, more diverse than you. So it's ours by default.
It's our mine.
Anyway, back to the point.
Anyway, again, Iger's contract renewed. No talk of a successor.
Nope. Oh, he's going to stay now. Fix it. Well, I don't see how. It's gotten worse.
Were we like a year into it? Iger?
Next month, yeah.
Yeah, and there's no successor, and they've had a bunch of people leave.
And Iger and that Susan Arnold were a big part of the problem, apparently.
Yeah, Susan Arnold, she's the one who had the mandate to put a chick in it, make it gay, and make it lame.
Well, I think so. She's like, when Chapek walked back we were getting out of politics shit, he was told he had to walk that back because Susan Arnold, who's chairman of the board, who's no longer there.
Yes.
But I also want to point out that she had a personal vested interest in going against Florida because she herself, was LGBTQ.
Yes.
And so she put her wants over the company. Same as Iger. He apparently wasn't helping Chapek like he should because he didn't like Chapek's business style, and he was putting himself over the company.
He should have just stayed away. Or he should have
just done his job and helped and then moved on. I mean, I don't think Chapek was a good idea either, but I don't think it was all his fault.
So yeah, Disney said they got rid of Perlmutter because he was a redundancy. Because they merged the studios because he was going to fire Kevin Feige like 6 or 8 years ago. And so this is like, I think Feige's revenge. Like, okay, well now I'm going to.
No, it's not his revenge. It's Bob Iger got rid of him because he was setting up meetings between Peltz and chair people and stuff to try to get so Peltz could try to win them over.
Yeah,
he was doing that, so they got rid of him because he was on board with Peltz. Now, because you got rid of him, he's throwing in with Peltz with all his shares. Good job there, Iger.
So does that make him the single biggest shareholder in Disney? He might be.
Well, I don't know. Trying now is because they are controlling his shares.
Wow.
So that was colossally stupid. But what am I going to believe? Which seems like the most obvious explanation. You turn around after the Peltz thing, and he backs Peltz and tries to set up meetings for him. And then you fire him and say it's a redundancy because he was a redundancy or because you were pissed and were trying to do revenge to get him out of your way?
Yeah.
Which one do you think seems like the more logical explanation?
So, hey, shareholders like it. The stock is up. A little bit.
Still under $80.
A little bit. Can you imagine buying Disney stock at like $150, $200 a share, thinking it was going to go up. Yeah, and you lost like half your investment.
Oh, that's the thing. Like when they would have sold and they would have hit $200 and some a share at some point, and now it's down to $80, under 80 or under. Like, this is bad.
Can you even imagine just being just an investor, maybe somebody that had, like, you work for Disney and this is your retirement and you watched half of that value get snapped away in the span of a couple of years because of stupid decision. Yeah.
The Pixie Dusters, I'm buying it because in the long term, it's going to be fine. Yeah, you said that last year and it's gone down from $100 and some to 80.
Yeah.
Good job.
It might go up. It will go up. It just went up again. If Peltz and Perlmutter by proxy or whatever get a hold of Disney and they get their meat hooks into Disney and they can actually force Disney to be Disney again and be profitable again, this might be Disney's last chance. Because the way this company is going, the only other option is for them to sell it because I don't know what else they're going to do. They're in a death spiral right now. And it is so shocking how fast it happened.
They're trying to offload stuff now.
Yeah, they're trying to offload stuff now. Like, they were on top of the world just 2 or 3 years ago, and now they're just like, they are a joke. Every mainstream media outlet they used to defend Disney constantly, and now they're like, yeah, we can't defend this shit anymore. It's like,
no, they won't. They don't defend it now because either checks stop coming, or it's safe to call them out now. They're afraid of KK before, but then everybody else paved the way to make it safe. You're welcome.
You're welcome. Everybody else took the brunt of the hits. So there we go, guys. This is gonna be really interesting to watch, especially with next week they got their earnings call.
And I mean, if they do sell off, Hotstar and the assets in India, I don't think they're going to do it until. I mean, I could be wrong, but I don't think they're going to do it until after the earnings call. Well, they might, because Q1 started in October and they won't be reporting on that. Because they're not going to want to have to mention that at the earnings call. Because if they sell that, it's going to cost about 40 million subscribers.
Yeah,
they've already lost like 20 million subscribers because of India losing stuff at Hotstar. But if they get rid of it, it's going to cause a 40 million drop in subscribers. That's just what's going to happen, because that's who subscribes to Disney Plus Hotstar. So
yeah,
I don't know what they're going to report that now, or they're going to wait a little bit so that's on the Q1, or what they're going to do. But it's likely they're going to sell it. It's not confirmed, but it's likely.
That is a lot of red. That is a lot of red there, Disney. And I don't think the Marvels is going to. They're trying to pump the Marvels up to be another Endgame. Did you see the new trailer?
Yes, and they're using the Endgame thing with all the women. It's
and they had Thanos in it, and also it's like
it has nothing to do with the movie. That has nothing to do with it. And then the rumor that they're putting Kelsey Grammer's Beast in the end, which I don't even know if it's true or not, to tie to Deadpool 3. And if they do that, the only reason they're doing that is because they're like, oh, we tied the Captain Marvel into Endgame, and people came because thought they had to see it. If we tie this into Deadpool 3, which they're really excited about, they're all going to come because they think they need to see it. And that's what they're trying to do. But your new trailer is stupid, and it's why are you putting Endgame in? That doesn't make any sense. Gosh, you guys are pathetic. You could have canceled this. You just moved it 5 times. You could have canceled it at any point. You kind of deserve to get your ass kicked because you're stupid, and you keep listening to the wrong people and doubling down on the wrong things.
I'm just surprised that the teaser's not going to be Kevin Pride.
He said a Kitty Pride?
Yeah.
I'm just surprised they aren't on the teaser just flat out saying, you know what, if you don't come to this movie, you hate women. You're racist. And if you don't want the world to think that you're a bad person, and we want to show the world that we don't stand for racism and bigotry and hate and misogyny, then you have your asses to the movie theater to see this film. Thank you. That's what I'm surprised they haven't got there and told everybody that.
About 5 years ago they would have, but it doesn't work anymore, right?
Yep.
So here we are. We're going to wrap this up.
Yep.
Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. Get some popcorn ready, because the next couple of months are going to be fantastic.
Even the street. Disney stock hires billionaire Nelson Peltz adds firepower to board seat. They're even saying the stock's going up because of it.
Yes.
This is the street, which is an investment, periodical. So there you go.
So if I guarantee you, if he gets control, the Disney stock is going to go up, because they're like, somebody, finally, an adult is in charge of Disney, and we're going to make some money. Let's wrap it up.
Yep.